Hi, it's Marianne with a Scraplift Saturday video for the Crafty Maven's Getaway channel. And today I scraplifted a layout by Ashley Horton, and she used a silhouette to cut a bunch of circles and then laid them out and embellished the circles. So basically that's what I did. I used a cut file from the Silhouette store. Mine is called Circle Frames. I think she used something different. So I cut 10 circles, 2 different sizes, 5 bigger and 5 smaller. I just varied the sizes because I wasn't really sure how many were going to fit on my page or what I wanted to look like. So that's what I ended up going with. My background there is this yellow piece of paper it was a Cocoa Daisy exclusive. And I'm going to lay out the circles and use a circle punch and punch some circles out of circle pattern paper and embellish my circles. And that's about it. I'm going to use the mood board for this week. It's got a lot of pinks and turquoise and a little bit of black, so that's the color scheme that I went with. I think this piece of paper is by Amy Tangerine, I'm pretty sure. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to do other than the silhouette cut circles, and then I went looking through my pattern paper, and once I saw the circles I was like, oh, you know what, I'll use a circle punch and punch out the patterns. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I already knew my color scheme, turquoise and pink, and this piece of paper actually was really perfect for that. So I'm glad to use it up. So I just have to punch a few, and then I have another sheet of paper I'm going to use as well that had some pattern circles on it. And this is great because the scale of the patterns is smaller than if you had taken, some full sheets of 12 by 12 and use a circle punch there. It's good to use a smaller scale pattern. That sheet of paper with the hearts on it is also from Amy Tangerine. I have been hoarding it for ages. So I'm glad to at least cut out a little heart out of it. I'm just going to cover up one of those circles that said whatever, and I didn't need that on there, so I didn't need that word. I just liked the color of it. But the beauty one, I'm going to leave that, and I'm just kind of seeing which patterns I want in which circle. I do have some themed product for doggy pages by Bella Boulevard. There's one cut apart sheet there. I have a sticker sheet and a few other pattern papers, and then I have the 6x6 pad. I think it's by something called with a 7 in it. I forget the name of it, but I think the paper line is called Baxter maybe, but there was one little sheet of paper that had some dogs on it, so I'm going to cut a circle out of that, punch a circle out of that, and use that. And that's what's also great about a 6x6 pad, is that the scale of the patterns is smaller, so it's good for little work like this. So I'm going to play around with the placement of my circles in the circles quite a bit, actually. And I'm going to use one sticker off that sticker sheet. I think it says "I will always love you." And I just used a little scrap that I had there that I was working with, and the turquoise, and I just backed it on that so that it stands out a little bit more. I don't do a lot of embellishing on this page. I think I'm going to use one wood veneer and just a few enamel dots and a few little stars at the end. That's about it. So basically the star of the show is the cut file and these different patterns. So I'm also using that sheet of paper by Pink Paisley. It's called Hey Kid, and it was a die cut sheet of paper that had a bunch of circles on it. It's probably a few years old, but I never used it, so I figured I would check that out. And that one, I know it looks like a white circle that I just punched, but it's actually a little blue and white grid. And I liked that star over there. I didn't need a full circle. So those ones were like kind of off the edge because I knew it was going to go under the photo, so I didn't need a whole shape there. So I'm going to settle on that black and white striped one, and then I think I use a pink polka dot somewhere. Oh yeah, that one on the end. I'm going to use that also. And that also doesn't have to be a full circle. because that one's going to go underneath the photo also. And I know I want to matte the photo, so I'm going to have a little trouble deciding what color to use for that. Here is just a few wood veneer embellishments also from that Baxter line. And so I'm going to use one of those doggies. And I was thinking about maybe I would color it with an ink pad or something, but it has a lot of detail on it. You know, sometimes wood veneer is just plain and you can color it, but this one had like some etching in it, you know, like for darker spots to make a cuter doggy. So I just left it natural because I felt like if I tried to color it, I was going to lose all that detail. So I could have gone a different way with this page. I really could have gone with primary colors and used that Bella Boulevard cut apart sheet, and it would have made a cute page also. But my doggie is a girl, so I did want to do some pink. I just thought maybe it would make more of a boyish page, and that's okay too, but the mood board also had a lot of pink in it, so I wanted to use some inspiration from there. So I'm just going to play with the placement of the patterns on there. And the only other thing that Ashley did that I'm also going to do is cut a title out of the silhouette. So there I've decided I'm going to use I'm going to back the photo in just a little bit of white, very thin border. And so like I said, Ashley cut her title on a silhouette, so that's what I'm going to do also. And unfortunately, I'm going to cut it the first time with this cheap piece of cardstock that I'm using, the rest of that white sheet. Even though as I was doing it, I knew it was a bad idea because I knew the blade would just make a mess of that paper. You know, in my Cameo at least, you need a good piece of cardstock to cut it, or else the blade kind of just like rips it and shreds it. So I knew it as I was doing it that I shouldn't use that. See how it kind of ripped it a little bit? So anyway, I'm just gonna see how this title looks. I cut the word happiness, and it's you know, a phrase that I owned. It's from the Silhouette store. I think it looks like Heidi Swap writing, like her handwriting. So I don't know if that was the name of the cut file or not. I used to have a membership to the Silhouette store, but I don't anymore. So for a year, I just pretty much, you know, used my credits every month and just bought a bunch of stuff. So I haven't had one in 2 years, and I honestly, for me, I don't miss it. You know, if there's something special in the store I want, I'll spend the dollar, but it's so rare that I do that. So, but I definitely don't use my Silhouette as often as I should. It's such a great tool, and it's really easy to use. I mean, I just know how to do the basics, but that's enough for me. So I decided, yes, I am going to die cut the title, but the white just isn't doing it for me. It's just too kind of like wimpy against the busyness of the back of the page. So I want to do pink. That's what I decide. And I cut it 3 times because I want the title to have some substance to it. So I'm going to layer them on top of each other so that it looks like something instead of, you know, kind of just like a delicate title. I want it to have some substance, especially against the busyness of the background. And you know, those black circles kind of make a bold statement, so you have to have something to kind of like stand up against that. So the way the cut file worked, the I and the N in happiness weren't attached, so it comes in 2 pieces. So basically I'm just using my Zig glue pen and gluing all 3 together so that, like I said, it has some substance, and I'm actually really happy with the way that came out. I know I've watched YouTube videos where I can't think of who it is right now. She always die cut her title and then like layered it up, and maybe more than just 3 times, like really made a nice thick title. So, and then I just put my little mason jar in there to keep it together, flatten it out. I love my Zig glue pen. I think I've used a Zig glue pen since, I don't know, probably in the 18 years I've been scrapbooking, I've always used one. I don't like the very thin tip. It has to be the chisel tip for me. And even from back in the day when I used to have all those stencils and trace out my letters and cut out my letters, which I used to find really relaxing, actually. I used to really like that. So, I mean, it was very time consuming though, especially if you did like a long title like Thanksgiving. Nice long title. Took, you know, an hour and a half just to do that. So there's my title, Happiness, and my smiling dog, Lucy. So now I'm just going to glue all my circles with the Zig Glue pen and then glue down the pattern. So there, it's all glued down. And here I'm looking for embellishments. I thought maybe I would use some of that flair that my friend named Glory makes. I can put a link into her store in the bottom. She makes some really cute flair if you want to take a look. And I was cleaning up and I found these little stars. They're just little gem stars from a Studio Calico kit. So I decided just to put a few of those on the layout, and I'm going to find some flat enamel dots, some black enamel dots, and I'm going to end up using those. So very minimal embellishing here, and I'm not even sure it's the right embellishment. I just felt like it really didn't need a lot after the boldness of those circles. So, and 2 enamel dots up there looked kind of weird above the dog's head. So I'm just going to put those little gem stars there. And I'm going to sprinkle a few on the layout. And then I need 1 black enamel dot for to dot my eye in Happiness. And then I think I'm going to just do a tiny bit of journaling, just about how happy the dog makes us all. She really just brought so much joy into our life. I think that's what I write. And so thank you so much to Ashley Horton for the inspiration for the Scraplift Saturday. And just want to say thank you to all of you for watching. I really appreciate all your likes and comments. And I hope you'll find some crafty time in your day. There's the final project.